Done. Okay, hey everybody, this is Bradley Benner with Semantic Mastery. Today is Masterclass week number 36. It is November 11th. We got Adam and Marco on with us. What's up, guys?
I'm gonna wait.
Marco.
Hey man, what's going on, man?
All right.
Hey guys, how's it going? Good to be here.
All right. Let's see. I've got to get signed into a couple things. So, Adam, if you've got anything you want to chat about, do it.
Sure. I'm going to reiterate Video Powerhouse, not to bore everybody who was just on Hump Day Hangouts, but I know we have several people who show up just for Masterclass. So I'm going to drop the link in here. We're opening up Video Powerhouse, the Video Embed Network. We're giving people who attend our events first crack at it. We're going to close it down after 50 people join up, and then we're going to open it back up hopefully in 30 days, but no guarantees, just based on how we can use the network most efficiently. So it's going to be a pretty killer, or not going to be, it's a pretty killer network, but we are going to continue to expand it as time goes on. So I don't know, anything you want to add?
Yeah, just to add to this, we don't play that scarcity shit that other people play. We say 50 people, we mean 50 people. Get in where you fit in, or you're gonna have to wait.
You said it,
Just
brother.
going to say it on here since we're waiting. Wayne, you're trying to log into what, and the screen is just white, so let me know. Type it out.
All right, I got these ready, I think. Okay, all right, guys, we can get into the presentation. Is everything all right? Like, let's see.
Yeah, you're good.
Oh, he says serve space, maybe? The screen
Great.
is white?
Well, it was working for me like 2 minutes ago, so I'm not sure. I'll check it out though in another browser while we're going.
Try another browser or clear your cache and cookies. That kind of shit happens. All right, let me go ahead and grab the screen and we'll get into the presentation, which is a small presentation today. And guys, did we already tell them that we're not going to be here next week? Did we already say that?
No, I guess that's a good one just in case you weren't on the Hump Day Hangout. We won't be having a webinar next week. We're going to be meeting up and doing some various things, so we're not going to be able to do the class next week, but then we will be back immediately the week after.
Yeah. So in the following week is going to be Thanksgiving week, guys. So I know we might do something special where we kind of tie in Hump Day Hangouts and Masterclass and Mastermind all into one, like one big public webinar thing. That might be what we do. So it might be actually 2 weeks before we go back to a normal schedule. And that's just, after 54 weeks of Hump Day Hangouts, we're going to take a week off. And in fact, then the following week it might be, like I said, everything kind of crammed in all into one webinar, and then we'll get back to a normal schedule again, just so you know. Okay. All right, so today, week 36, niche affiliate, week number 3. I didn't get as much done as I had hoped. However, I did get some stuff done, and I've got some pretty good stats. My email list is starting to, I'm starting to gain opt-ins already. I did want to mention, just because I said I was going to do this every week, I'll keep it brief, but we're going to be winding down the masterclass. Don't have a hard date on it yet, but I would like to spend several more weeks on this case study to really get this one working well. Before we close down, and then there's, like I said, there's potentially a second case study that I want to do, but I'm not sure we're going to have time for it. I'm still researching another niche right now, but it's looking to be very promising, and I'll share that with you guys as soon as I'm certain, but I'm not certain just yet. However, I'm hoping to wind down the masterclass by the end of this year, so that going into January next year there is no more masterclass webinars. There will the masterclass membership will still be there for people that want to join, because there's so many weeks of training in there that it's still a valuable product. But it's supposed to be used as a stepping stone to graduate from masterclass into mastermind, where you're going to get so much more benefit anyways, because there's formal training, there's the discussion forum, which with an active group of other professional SEOs beyond just us. There's also additional webinars that we do. There's specials. You get discounts on our products. Anything under $300 is free. You get first crack at all of our products before they get released to the public. There's so many benefits to being in the masterclass. If you guys are serious about your business, you'll join us in the masterclass. If you're not, well, then when the masterclass wraps up, see ya. We hope you have a successful career. That's what it comes down to. So I just wanted to give you guys a recap that I'm planning on having it wrapped up by the end of the year, which gives us about another 7 solid weeks. But I really don't think we're going to be pushing this into into 2016. I think we're going to wrap up before then, unless something changes. Okay, but I don't think so. So that said, the niche affiliate case study. I'm going to show you the stats from the sites that I had built already. They're starting to gain some pretty good traction. I'm actually kind of glad next week that we won't be here, because that'll give those sites a little bit more time to season or to age. In which case, in 2 weeks when we come back. Or possibly 3 weeks when we come back, because we might not have a normal masterclass in 2 weeks. You guys will see, like, sites, these lead sites now will have seasoned several weeks, and they should be where they, we should start seeing traffic numbers like what I'm used to seeing with the sites that do well. So we're going to look at the initial stats now after a couple weeks. I did build another site actually today, to be honest with you. So it's not even been submitted yet to Webmaster Tools, so I don't have any stats on that one because it was just built today. I'll show you the site if you guys want to see it. It just looks like all the others, so it's not a big deal. Just targeting different keywords. Video SEO campaign details. I spent some time setting up an account, a YouTube channel, and a Google Plus page for the Model Trains project, and I sent that over to my network building team today to build out a 2-tier network for it, because I want to be doing some video SEO campaigns as well, not just the lead gadget sites. Right now, I love using the lead gadget sites because they perform well sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes they perform well, and they cast such a wide net with a minimal amount of work to get that net cast. Okay, that's why I like using those, and that's why I like to use these as a starting point. However, I know that this is some of you guys don't have access to Lead Gadget or the ATM or SERP Space, or excuse me, SERP Shaker, and so I want to be doing some other traffic generation methods to build this list as well. And so video SEO obviously would be a good fit for us. So I do want to go over that. Now, again, I'm going to be using Hangout Millionaire for the video SEO campaign. We're gonna walk through some of the details today, because I've got the plan in place. By the time we come back to Masterclass on a regular schedule, I will have had the networks already created and probably have run a couple campaigns to where I start, getting videos ranked and driving traffic, so that we will have some data to look at when we return. But remember, I'm going to be using Hangout Millionaire, which again is like a SERP Shaker for YouTube, or a lead gadget for YouTube. It's a good analogy. And so again, that's a tool that I'm going to be using, but if I didn't have that tool, I would just have to do them one video at a time, which could still be done. It just requires more work. All right. Next, YouTube ads. I also did YouTube. I set up a YouTube ad today. Just one so far. I'm going to set up some others as well, but I just got one set up today. I want to see if I can start running traffic back to I don't even have a specific landing page for this, guys. You remember hobbytrains.org is the site, and this is the affiliate, the pre-made niches site that I found from premadeniches.com. Cost me $17 to get this site and install it on my domain. I had it done in about 30 minutes, and it's a great little site. Well, this is what I'm sending traffic to from YouTube, from YouTube ads, just direct to this site, because it's got the exit pop with Todd Gross for opt-in to the list, and also and the videos, the YouTube ads are going to be playing in front of Model Trains videos. And my targeting was very broad. It was just anything that had to do with Model Trains. I can get more specific and create more specific ads based on the various sub-niches within the Model Trains industry, like Bachmann Trains, Lionel Trains, Hornby Trains, N-Scale, HO Scale. All those are different things that have their own videos inside of YouTube, which means I could be targeting each one of those sub-niches with a specific YouTube ad that points people back to here. And if I wanted to get really creative, I could create separate landing pages for each one of them so that it's more specific, which could probably be higher conversion rate. I don't know if we're going to get that deep into it or not. It just depends on how much time I have for it. But for right now, this is good enough, because we send people back to this, and they can either click on any one of these banners anywhere that's going to take them over to the sales page, or they will get the opt-in, and they could possibly opt in. Okay, and so to me that's good enough. And again, I've already started. I checked this morning, and I had 2 new opt-ins, which doesn't seem like a lot, but I really haven't done any traffic generation methods other than just build a couple lead gadget sites. So that's also on the agenda for next week, or for the next class, is to have some of the autoresponders email sequences already installed, because right now it's just the one email to deliver the PDF, and that's it. I got to get a sequence put together. So that's something else. But in fact, the guy that sells this product here, when I signed up through ClickBank to promote this product, this guy Dan Morgan, he sends emails out, saying, hey, do you need any help, blah blah blah, and so I'm going to email him back and say, yeah, give me an email sequence. Seriously, I'm going to tell him to send me an email sequence for me to add to my autoresponder series. Why the hell should I write him? He's probably already got an email sequence, and I just take his. I'm sure he'll share it with me because it's going to sell his product. So I actually just got the email from him today asking, as an affiliate, did I need any help from him? Is there anything that I needed from him? And I haven't responded yet, but I'm going to today and tell him, yeah, do you have an email follow-up sequence that I can use? If so, send me the swipe files, and I'll add them in my autoresponder. Guys, that's the thing. A lot of affiliates will actually give you the tools that you need to be able to promote their product. Okay? So I don't want to spend a lot of time writing these because I don't know dick about model trains. Okay. All right, so let's go take a look at these stats. If you guys, Adam, if there's any questions about anything that I said, just let me know.
Will do. You're good.
Okay. So this was the first site, guys, buy.hobbytrains.org, and you can see from last week that we've had a pretty nice jump. I think last week we had I don't know, like 8 clicks or something like that. Something like that. And you can see now we're at like 40 clicks. If we go look at the impressions, you can see the impressions going up, the clicks are going up. 928 impressions in the last 30 days is what this is showing. The date's right here. However, remember, this site was just indexed 2 weeks ago. You can see the first impression was given, it looks like, on 10/27, which was about 2 weeks ago. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. In 2 weeks, we've had 40 clicks, guys. That's not bad. 20 clicks per week, 3 clicks per day, right? That's not bad. I'm okay with that, with this being a new site. And that's why I said going forward, it'll be probably 2 weeks, or excuse me, 3 weeks before we go back to a normal masterclass lesson. And by then, this site will have been aged for, well, a good 5 or 6 weeks by that point. And so we should see some pretty significant changes here to these numbers by then, and I think that'll be good that we're actually taking a little bit of a break, because it'll give all these sites a little bit of time to age, and they usually perform better once they're a little bit older. Sometimes they just flat out don't perform, guys. That's what happens with these sites, but that's not bad. So if we look, position, I don't think that really matters much. 33.6. If we go take a look at the pages, we can actually come over here and sort by clicks, and you can see that these pages, in fact, we can sort by position is what I wanted to do. If we sort by position, you can see these are the exact pages. These right here are tag pages, these top ones. This one's Model Trains Trego MT. I guess that's Montana. But you can see that if I scroll down and expand this out, let's go to 500 rows. Let's see, all these pages are listed number 1 for these terms up until here where it starts number 2. And if we scroll down, we're showing 500 rows. So we've got at least 500 pages or posts on this site that are ranked in the top 10, at least 500. It looks like only 735 are actually showing anyways at this moment. So pretty cool. This is how I like to. This, by the way, guys, just so you know, this is how I mentioned this last week, but this is how I do a lot of keyword discovery in niches, guys. Is I'll slap up I used to use SERPshaker for all this stuff, but now that I have Lead Gadget and the ATM, I'd use that. But a lot of the times, if I'm doing research on a new niche or a new market, a new industry, a new set of keywords, period, I'll build a couple of these sites and slap them up, deploy them, get them out there, get them indexed, and then I'll just let them sit for, like I said, about 30 days, and then I'll come back and I'll analyze the data from the Search Console. And guys, this is where you'll start to see various keywords come up that the keyword tools don't show you, because there's not something that gets searched usually enough to be able to, for them to start tracking. But I see a lot of the times, like for example, when I first started building sites with the ATM, we had built several of them for SEO related terms to build our email list for Semantic Mastery. And after building, I don't know, 5 or 6 of them, I kept noticing in all the different sites that this one particular keyword kept coming up, and it was for keyword plus city, or keyword research plus city, or something like that. I don't remember what it is off the top of my head now, but it was this one particular keyword phrase plus the geographic modifier that kept coming up. These were search terms that I would never imagine people would be searching for, especially with a local intent. Like, to me, it just didn't make sense, but I kept seeing that coming up across various SEO related site builds. And so I decided, well, hey, this is an indication that I should be building a site targeting that keyword phrase plus the city, right? And with these types of sites, the short codes swap out the cities. They use tokens, right? So anyways, we built that site. Since then, all those sites have been, we lost all those sites because we had some server issues for about 2 months. So we don't have any of those sites anymore. But I had built that one, and we were generating quite a bit of additional traffic from those sites. I don't have an exact figure now because it's been several months. But it was by using the data that Google was showing me from these sites, I identified some additional opportunities that I would have otherwise not seen, if that makes sense. Okay? So that was the first site. The next one, we'll take a look at hornby.hobbytrains.org. This was the second site I built. Look at this one. This one, you can see 50 clicks now. You see it going straight up over here. If we click on impressions, you'll see the line correlates with the clicks. So it's, you know, this one's been given 1,000 impressions already, 50 clicks in the last 2 weeks. Again, the same thing. If we wanted to look at pages, we could identify which pages they were that were actually ranking by adding position over here, and then sorting by position. We can see which pages are ranking over here. And again, going back over to the queries, we click on this, and this will give us some additional keyword types or keyword ideas sometimes. All right. Move over to the next one, which is bachman.trainenthusiast.net. This one is actually even a little bit younger. I think this one was built 2 or 3 days after the other two. And this one already has got 53 clicks, 100 or 1,500 impressions. You can see, once again, these two lines are correlating with each other. Again, I don't know if you guys remember from last week, but with these types of sites, if you see your impressions going up, but your clicks, if there's a lot of space between your red and your blue lines, it means that your site it's getting impressions, but it's not ranking well. So that's why it's not getting clicks. So the bigger the space between those two lines, the worse that the site is performing. You know, it's not doing as well. The closer the lines get together, the better it's performing in search. It's a quick way to just tell if it's a dud or not, because a lot of the times you'll see the impressions start going way up, but the clicks hover way down here at the 0 line. You know, and maybe you'll get a click here and a click there or whatever, but those are duds. Like, I'll usually let those sites sit for about 6 weeks, and if I don't see a significant change in the click ratio, then I just go ahead and delete them and clear my server from the space, free up the space for other sites. Okay. And what's interesting is with these types of sites, guys, sometimes it's just the domain itself. It's weird. And this is where Terry Kyle, highly respect him in the SEO industry. He's one of the few. He talks about random ranking factor. He calls it Google's random ranking factor. And one of the tests that he often does, and I've learned to do it myself, is to, whenever he goes to build out a site for, like, let's say, even if it's just a client site, for example, purchase like 5 domains and build pretty much the same site on all 5 domains with some slight differences, and see which one starts to perform better. You throw a shit ton of links at it. It's called poking a niche, right? It's where you throw a bunch of like high-powered SAPE links, or if you've got, you know, some nice PBN links or something like that, you throw some links at it. It's a brand new site, but you see very quickly within the first 2 weeks where those sites settle in those first 2 weeks within the search results. And even though all 5 sites from 5 different domains are basically the same site, you'll see that some sites just outrank the others hands down. And whichever one does the best, then he keeps that site and deletes the rest of them. And that's something that I've done. In fact, inside the mastermind, I did that with a plumbing site that I did for a client who's no longer a client of mine. But I did the same thing. And I think I tested, I can't remember if it was 5 domains, but I know I tested at least 3 domains. And the one domain that actually ranked higher than all the rest of them was a .us, which I thought was interesting because it wasn't a .com or a .net or .org. It was a .us, and it outranked all of them. I got to #1 in under 7 days just throwing some safe links at it. So the reason I'm telling you that is because I found with these sites too, guys, sometimes it's not anything wrong with the site itself. It's just Google doesn't like a particular domain. And I swear that happens. It just won't rank it for whatever reason, because I can take the same content from this site, for example, and deploy it onto another domain, and it ends up ranking and producing traffic. And the only difference is the domain name, nothing else. And so sometimes that happens, guys. So anyways, this one, like I said, was the third site. This one's doing really well. Is what you guys see a pattern here, by the way? Take a look at this. Like this one's 40 clicks in about 2 weeks. This one's 50 clicks in about 2 weeks. This one's 53 clicks in about 2 weeks, right? And this is the one that this was the newest site. This one is not showing any clicks. Let's see if it's showing in impressions. Remember, I just added this to Webmaster Tools last week. I think the same day of I think last Wednesday, 7 days ago. So this one is the Lionel.trainenthusiast.net, and this one's not receiving any clicks yet. And in fact, let's go take a look real quick at indexing rate and see. Okay, looks like I already did that from this account. This one's showing 139,000 indexed pages, and this is a new site. This is the newest site out of the 4 that I just showed you. This is the newest one. So it's not showing any clicks yet, but it is showing that it's indexed well. So that's interesting. I'm curious as to why it's not. But still, for 3 sites, guys, that's not bad. I mean, you got to figure in 2 weeks I've got 150 clicks here, right? So what is that? 14 days, 10, just over 11 clicks a day, just about 11 clicks per day from 3 sites. So that's not bad, you know, considering. So, all right, are there any questions on that, Adam?
One sec, I just flipped over there, so let's see. We got questions about YouTube ads account separation if we get to the
Okay.
YouTube ads. So
yeah, that's fine. For the video SEO campaign details, guys, like I said, there's not really anything to show here other than what I did was I set up a channel. Let's see if that's through another. Yeah, no, I don't have the graphics for it or anything yet. So, anyways, there's not really much to show. I set up a YouTube channel. I created, it created the Google Plus page with it. I also connected the YouTube channel to my AdWords account so that I could use Google Ads, YouTube ads. But I want to house the model trains videos and the ads on that channel instead of on one of my other channels. So I connected that to my AdWords account. I also connected the associated website, which is the hobbytrains.org site. That's this one here. I connected this to the new YouTube channel as the associated website, as well as to the Google Plus page, and verified it. So it's a verified website. And other than that, I sent everything over to my network team to build the networks out for me. I'm just going to do one Tier 2 network for this. I think that's all I'll need. If I need more, then I'll add more later on. But for right now, I'm just going to do one Tier 2 network. And once that's complete, again, in about 3 weeks when we come back to a normal schedule, that network will have been completed, and I will probably have already ran at least 1 or 2, probably at least 2 Hangout Millionaire campaigns to target some of these keywords. And in part, I'm going to wait to do that because I want to find more data from these sites first, so that I can identify. By the way, like for example, you can sort this data in here by. Actually, I have to go in analytics to do that. But in analytics, you can sort to show like where the traffic is coming from. So you can look at like a map and see. And so I can look inside of analytics and take a look and say, okay, this particular site is receiving a lot of traffic in New Jersey for some reason. Let's just use that as an example. Well, then I would know that for Hangout Millionaire, for the video SEO campaign, I would want to target model trains keywords in New Jersey because there's a higher concentration of traffic there based on the data that these sites will reveal. That's why I said these sites, if nothing else, even if these sites didn't produce traffic and money, they would be worth it in my opinion just because of the data that they, the data that they'll reveal. because you know, they're so massive and they're so big. They just produce so much data that you can look at to identify pockets of traffic, or you know, hot spots around the country, and hot spots as far as keywords too. Okay, so once those networks are done, guys, and I get the Hangout Millionaire campaign run, you know, I'll run a few campaigns and I'll show you the results. Those I'll actually add the videos, probably the URLs into like a rank tracker, like ProRankTracker.com or whatever. That way we can actually see, like on a graph, how those videos perform. And those ought to be pretty good. And by the way, the only thing that I'm going to do with those videos to keep it simple is I'm probably just going to use the Hangout Millionaire app to create the videos, which will just take images and create slideshows, you know, with like text overlay on it, with a call to action. That's all I'm going to do, probably. It's just, you know, because I've already got, if you guys want to see, I've got inside of the inside of here, I got images like you wouldn't believe. You know, I've got all these different folders full of images. For example, if you see this, you know, I've got hundreds of images here for model trains. So I can just select one of these folders and Hangout Millionaire will just start grabbing images at random and creating videos out of them. So it'll make it easy. Okay. All right, so YouTube ads, we'll get into that. What's the question on that specifically?
The question
Is this
was.
from Phil?
What's that?
Is it from Phil?
Yes.
Okay, I see it. Clint says we got a broken link.
Yeah, I'm checking it out right now.
Okay. How are you managing the YouTube ads account separation for the YouTube advertising? I saw before you adding your account as a manager to all the various personality niche accounts, which is a great tip. Is this sufficient for you to use the manager account and then run the advertising from? Yeah. Yeah, you can. I'm using a single AdWords account for my SERP Shaker. AdWords or AdSense? Do you realize there's a risk and also footprint? My sites generally have a good click-through rate. Yeah, you must be talking to Phil about an AdWords account. I mean, excuse me, an AdSense account, right? I don't know why you would want to have AdWords connected to a SERP Shaker site. Are you driving traffic via AdWords to a SERP Shaker site? Clarify that for me, Phil. I think you meant AdSense. And yeah, I don't recommend, like, for example, this account here that I'm logged into for these sites. This is a Google account that I created specifically for ATM work, for Lead Gadget, that I use for Lead Gadget stuff. So it's an account that I set up only for that. So I get notifications from the ATM app, you know, when site builds start, when the deployments are finished. I get hosting notifications there from Costas, because I have dedicated server there, that sort of thing. But that's it. I don't use it for anything else. However, because I'm always logged into this Google account when I'm using when I'm building ATM builds, every time I build an ATM site, I just grab one of my profiles from all of my various hundreds, or actually probably thousands now, no kidding, IFTTT networks that I have. So I just go into my spreadsheet and just grab at random one of my profiles, open up the Google account, I'll have, and then I'll submit the new site that I built to that Google account, Webmaster Tools account, underneath that persona or that profile. Then what I do is I go in, and under here you go to users and property owners, and you can add in the actual a new user. So for example, this one is actually housed directly, this particular one, buy.hobbytrains.org, is actually owned by this Google account here that I'm in. But I do that rarely. Usually I'll, I think in this particular account I might have 4 or 5 sites that are actually submitted as this account being the owner. But for everything else, like I said, I will just open up a persona, add the site to that profile, to that persona account, and then I come over here, and then from inside of that Search Console dashboard, I'll go click on Add a New User, and then I'll come over here and I'll add this, which is this particular account, and I'll add full, give it full, and then I'll click Add, and so that way I can access all of these sites from inside this one account. So in other words, that way I'm acting as a manager, and that's just for Search Console. But the same thing happens with AdWords too. I mean, for example, the YouTube channel that I set up today for this model train project was under a persona account. I set the channel up under their account, but right after I set the channel up, I added myself, Bradley Benner, as a page manager. Then I logged into my AdWords account which is underneath my account, Bradley Benner. And then I went to go set up an ad using an ad, for the YouTube ad that was already uploaded to the Model Trains account. And when I went to go add that YouTube ad, it prompted me and said, "Do you want to connect this channel to as a verified channel in your AdWords account so that it will unlock more more data, more details?" And I selected yes, and then it gave me a a code or like an email with a link that got sent to the account owner, which was one of my personas, and I had to go click that link, and then that verified the connection between the two, and that was it. But once again, that account is owned by a persona, but I'm able to manage it through mine. And I do that, guys, because you don't want to put all your sites in one account, because what happens if you ever caught a penalty or Google decided they didn't like you and they come in and they shut that account down? Now you've lost everything. And it makes you an easy target when you do that, by the way. So you're better off spreading everything out across multiple, accounts, and then adding yourself or a persona if you wanted as a manager, and then you can manage everything from one login. But they're not owned by that account; they're just managing it. So it's a way to protect yourself from potential harm. Okay. All right. Hopefully that makes sense. And yeah, he said yes, he's using AdSense. Okay. Not seeing my screen. You guys are you guys seeing me or?
Yeah, it dropped out for a minute, but you're good. It's showing your screen again.
Okay, cool.
Actually, no, it's not. It's not moving.
It's not moving?
No, I'm seeing Search Console.
How about now?
There we go.
You guys are seeing me now?
Yep. I'll check on the event page, but
stop it. All right. How do you see the screen now?
Not yet. I see a black screen.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if Google's taking a dump on us again, which it often does. See, I'm seeing my screen. Aren't you guys seeing like the never-ending picture?
Just seeing black screen.
How about now?
Black screen.
I'll be damned. All right. Well, I don't know what to tell you. I guess we can just answer some questions. I don't have much else to show other than the YouTube ad stuff. And my camera went blurry, didn't it? Are you guys seeing me or no?
Yeah, I think they are. I'll double check. There was a few minutes where it just went to the logo only, but that's fine because there wasn't, I don't think, anything we really needed to show.
Yeah. All right.
All right, guys. If you got questions, I think they're on a pretty long delay right now because of this too. So we'll give you guys a minute. By all means, start if you got some questions. I know Dan had one. If we want to go ahead and answer that while we're waiting, Bradley.
Yeah, that's fine. I guess let me just finish. What are you seeing right now, Adam? Is it still just black?
Screen. Yeah.
Just black. Okay. Well, I'm just going to remove the screen share then. For whatever reason, it's not. You guys aren't seeing it. So. All right. So at least you can
see your lovely face.
My lovely face. All right. So for the AdWords stuff, guys, I set up an actual ad today. All I did was I used TubeSift like I always do. I collected like 290 or 264 URLs as placements that had model trains in the title, or model train in the title, I guess. And I set up just a very quick generic, and I can probably grab the URL from the actual ad. Just a minute. Let me see if I can click on it and get it. Wait, I don't want to do that. Maybe not. I'd have to change. Anyways, it's just a V-roll ad. You guys know what they look like. I don't need to show it to you. Anyways, I just added that over to and set the placements up. Set it to $5 a day. The targeting was pretty much the same as I always do. I just removed 18 to 24-year-olds, and after that, that's it. I got it set up. It hadn't started serving before we got on this Hangout today, so I probably will start serving within the next 24 hours, which will be good because it'll give me a chance between now and the next time we have a regular class for me to be able to see how well those ads perform. Plus, I want to add a couple other ones. Like this one was just very generic or general model trains, but if I get more specific and target, like Bachmann trains, for example, like I did a run today when I built the site. You guys can't see my screen. When I built the site today for N-scale trains, if you guys want to see that one, that one I don't have the overlay on it yet, so it's just the Lead Gadget site. That's N, that's it, just the letter N, dot trainenthusiast.net. That site was just deployed today. I haven't even done the cleanup yet, so like all the settings aren't completed and it's that sort of thing. But that's been done today. And when I went to go spin the URLs for the videos to put on the page, I used TubeSift again, and I put an N scale train, in quotes, was the keyword search that I used, and I pulled back 296 videos, I think. So it's insane. There's a lot of content out there. I mean, there's, like I said, the sub niche is what model trains is the general niche. Then there was Hornby trains, Bachmann trains, Lino trains. Then there's N scale, HO scale, G scale, and every single time I do a search for videos, like it pulls back 200 plus 300, close to 300 videos for each one of those, even those like sub niche terms. So it's an industry that there's a lot of interest in, and so there's a lot of different angles that you could approach, or you could hit multiple angles to drive traffic into it, and so that's what I'm kind of doing with this. So we'll have some additional ad stuff to go over the next time we get together. So other than that, there's really nothing left to show today. So we'll go into some questions, guys. If you got questions, add them. Add them to the page, and we'll go.
We're looking good. We've got a few, so
Okay.
let's just start with Dan, and then we'll work our way up the page.
Dan says, related to the same question asked on Hump Day Hangouts, should I worry about losing rankings by converting to WordPress? The customer would be willing to move to WordPress from Yola, but he's ranking high locally. Would you worry about losing the rankings, or should they remain ranked? It depends. Is it organic rankings or maps rankings that you're talking about? In fact, changing it to WordPress will most likely end up causing some dancing, but oftentimes, as long as you haven't changed the structure of the site much, as far as like the content and the hierarchy, like if you've got silos and that sort of thing, if you keep all of that intact, but you're just changing CMS platforms, then you will see some dancing. It always happens, but it should come back probably even stronger because Google loves WordPress sites. I don't know about Yola, but I know that Google loves WordPress sites because it's pretty much the industry standard. So there's a chance that you could end up doing better. You will see some dancing, there's no question, but you'll probably end up seeing better results. I can't swear to that, and neither should you, by the way, but you should most likely see it come back stronger. If it's just in maps that you're ranking and not organic, then it will have less of an impact on that, typically, although maps are a lot more volatile now than they used to be. So you probably still will see some dancing, but probably less significant than you would in organic rankings alone. Okay? So hopefully that was clear. But yeah, usually it comes back. Like I said, just don't make a lot of structural changes, and you should be okay.
All right. So Kendrick is asking about Video Send Alpha. He's wanting to know if Video Send Alpha is similar enough to Hangout Millionaire to do the same thing. He's asking because he's got a dusty copy of VSA laying around.
Okay. I've never used Video Send Alpha because it was one of those products from somebody that I just don't like those products. So I've never used it myself, but we had one of our former members, Michael, he used it a lot, and he liked it, except that, first of all, I don't think it live streams. I think all it does is uploads, so you don't get the benefit of a live stream or a hangout on air. I think all it does is upload like a traditional style. The other thing is you got to be careful, and again, without me having ever used it, I'm just telling you from experiences that were relayed to me. He was spamming pretty heavily with it, Michael was, and he had done something like 300 and some videos with it, and I don't know how short of a period of time, but he was doing well with some pay-per-call stuff, some pay-per-call type offers with it, and then Google came in and terminated his channels, and he lost it all. And it happened on a couple of occasions as far as I know. So, again, I can't speak for it myself. I've never used it. But if it does something similar to Hangout Millionaire and you have a copy of it, then fire it up and try it is all I can say. You know. Let's see. I think that's Clint's buddy that made that product. Is Video Traffic X the poor man's bargain way to create videos? No, but what Video Traffic X, where it shines is the fact that it will create videos with just a couple clicks of a button from your blog post. That's the beauty of Video Traffic X. I wouldn't use Video Traffic X as a video creation tool for like client videos and stuff. Like but like I wouldn't use it to sell like Video Traffic X videos. I would use it though, however, to increase the reach of content marketing because it would take a blog post and turn it into a video, thus and automatically uploading it to a channel. And that way, if you have a syndication network, an IFTTT network around the channel, it's going to automatically distribute and will oftentimes, especially because if you're using it for blog posts, to create videos from blog posts, you're going to be targeting long tail stuff anyways. That's what blog posts are for. And so it works really well. And in fact, Jason Quinlan, he's one of our mastermind members too, BJ, and you could actually tag him in a post inside of the mastermind, and I'm sure he'll chime in if he's not here today watching already, because I know he was able to rank several long tail terms very, very quickly with doing nothing else other than clicking a few buttons. That's where Video Traffic X is cool, because if you're already doing content marketing as part of your SEO strategy, which we all should be, for clients or your own sites, it doesn't matter, you should be doing that because it just works. This just adds, with just a couple extra steps, very small steps, it adds a whole video aspect to it, which will just increase your reach and and drive more traffic back into your sites. Okay. What's next?
Scrolling up here. Looks like.
Well, RK says, I've got one. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Adam. He says, I just lost it. He was asking
there it
me
is.
about.
Not seeing your screen.
Okay. Do you
yeah,
do anything to index the SERP Shaker sites? RK, what I do to index them is I submit them to Search Console, Google Webmaster Tools, formerly Webmaster Tools. Then I submit the sitemaps, and then I do fetch and render. And that's let me just show you what I'm talking about. Okay, once you've submitted the site to Search Console, again, do not put all of your sites in one account. Don't do it. Spread them across your persona accounts. You can add yourself as a manager so that you can log in from one account and manage all of them. But you do not want to be the owner all underneath one account. Okay, you're asking for trouble. However, once you've got the site added, and obviously you go over to crawl and you go to sitemaps, and here's where you add all of the various sitemaps. Okay, then once you've added your sitemaps, what I like to do is go over to where it says fetch as Google, and I just click fetch and render, or just fetch. It doesn't matter. Fetch and render just fetches it and then shows you what it looks like. Fetch just does the same thing without the display. And once I do that, I just click. So for example, I'll go ahead and do this now. I'll click fetch. It'll just take a second while it's reading. It says complete. Then I click submit to index, crawl this URL, and it's direct links. Oh, you guys aren't seeing it.
Yeah,
Shit.
I was going to say something, but you can. You guys have everyone's used Search Console. If you haven't, we'll help you out, but I assume everyone has. And all you got to know is the name of the buttons
That's right.
Bradley's talking about.
Under the crawl drop down on the left-hand sidebar, after you've submitted a site and verified it in Search Console, the left-hand side, you'll see where it says crawl. There's a drop down. You click that, it expands the menu. Then from there, that's where you add your sitemaps. Then after that, there's a fetch as Google. You click on that, and that's where you can have it. I always fetch the home page, which means you just click the fetch button. Then I click submit to index, crawl this URL and all of its direct links. Then I click go. Then I submit. In this case, with the ATM sites, the site builds, there is a directory page, and the directory page is just a page that is like a category index page where it lists all of the categories, and it's a hyperlinked category list. In other words, if you click on the category name, and then with these sites, with the nationwide builds, the categories are the states. So let's say you click on Virginia. Well, then it opens up the Virginia category page where it will have all the posts that fall within Virginia. So I like to index or fetch and submit to the index the categories page, or what's called the directory page. So because that right there is nothing but a page full of live links to spider through the rest of the site. And so when I hit crawl this URL and its direct links, that's a great place for me to hit, because it hits so many. Essentially, every post in the entire site is reachable from that point. And so if you have an HTML sitemap on your site, that's another URL that you can not just submitting your sitemaps to Search Console like you normally do. But what I'm talking about is if you add like an HTML sitemap plugin to your site, which will create an actual page in WordPress with a sitemap a visual sitemap, that's another great place that you can submit to the fetch and render button and then submit for indexing, because that will make a point where basically all pages within the site can be reached from that entry point, if that makes sense. Okay, so that's a good place to do it. Other than that, RK, just so you know, what I like to do, there's a lot of indexing services out there that will crush a server if you try to submit tens of thousands of links all at once to the indexing services. They will literally crash your server because all the bots will come in to spider your site and it will crash the server. I've had it happen many times through tests, plus the guys at ATM, they've had a lot of server issues when people have done that, which they're not supposed to do. So I have found one service that works really well for these kind of sites that doesn't crash the server is 1 Hour Indexing, which is onehourindexing.com or .co, I guess. And those, I don't know how they do it, like what their process is for indexing links, but it's a lot less bandwidth heavy as most indexing services. So I'll submit all of my sitemaps, and you guys, damn, I wish you could see my screen. I'd show you the process that I do it. But I go to open up a sitemap from the sitemap.xml plugin, you know, because we're using better WordPress sitemaps for these sites because they're so large. It's BWP sitemaps, I think it's called. And then from there, I'll open up the sitemap index, and there will be separate post sitemaps because it splits because there's so many posts. You know, there's 30,000 posts. So I'll have it set up to where it's like, for example, 5,000 posts per before it splits. So I'll have 6 post sitemaps to total 30,000 posts. And then I'll just copy all the URLs from that sitemap page, the post URLs, and I'll submit them to 1 Hour Indexing. And I'll set it to, like, you know, 500 links per day that it drips out per sitemap. So if I'm submitting 6 sitemaps at 500 links per day, I'm basically telling it to come crawl 3,000 links per day for the next, you know, whatever, 10 days, right? And that's how I do it. And it seems to work really well. A lot of these sites, though, I can be on, like, there's some sites that I just forget to actually go through the process, or I ran out of time and I didn't get a chance to submit the URLs to 1 Hour Indexing. And just within 30 days, all the sites end up indexing fully anyways. So, you know, if you're impatient, which I know you all are because I am too, then you can try to force it a little bit quicker. But for the most part, as long as you do what I showed you inside a Search Console, it's going to end up indexing anyways. It just takes time. Okay. All right. We've only got a few minutes left. Let's run through a couple more. Albert Einstein. Glad to have you here, Al. I have a PBN question. Best way to direct links through Weebly or link laundering to jump or 301 through just one domain? Depends on the PBN, Albert. If it's a highly themed, clean PBN, you can link directly to your money site. But if it's not the best kind of PBN, or if it wasn't relevant or related, you know, or whatever, if it's doesn't have the cleanest link profile coming in, then personally, my favorite way to use PBNs for that kind of thing is to just link them to my IFTTT properties, or specifically to a post. For example, if I've got a page on my site that I'm trying to rank, I will have created a blog post on the same site, right, and done a contextual link up to that page. Well, that post will have been syndicated to my Tier 1 branded IFTTT network, and then that post will have been syndicated to Tumblr, WordPress, and Blogger, and I will have 3 post URLs there that has that exact contextual link that I want, that's pointing up to my money site page that I want to rank. So I will use those post URLs as targets for PBN links. Does that make sense? All right. I don't use link laundering for PBN links. You can, but I don't see the need, because usually that's just for using like really, really dirty, spammy link juice. Okay. If you got PBNs that are that dirty, then yeah, I would recommend you only use them on you know, Tier 2 and beyond. But for the most part, PBNs are going to be decent enough to where you can run them just through one of your IFTTT properties, where you point to one of those and let that Web 2 be your SEO firewall. That's your buffer. Okay. When the public sees your ATM sites, they just see the overlay or the pages you built. Just the overlay, Roger. So for example, if we go over here to let's see, Bachman dot train. Let's see, train enthusiast. Oh, you guys can't see my screen. Damn it. Just
Yeah.
go check it out. Go check out bachman.trainenthusiast.net. You'll see the only thing that they see is my hobbytrains.org site that's overlaid on top of that site. No matter which page you were to come in on one of these 30,000 post sites, the only thing you're going to see is the hobbytrains.org site that's overlaid on top of it. Okay? The search engine sees the content behind it, but the visitors don't. Okay? Kendrick, sorry for the repeat question. Not sure if it got lost in the
Yeah, we
dropping
can skip
time.
that one.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you showed the example without the overlay. Thank you, Adam. Would all your social accounts in a sidebar widget on a PBN like you do in the Web 2.0, would you add all your social accounts? Yeah, you can. In fact, if you have IFTTT rings around your PBN sites, which you should, then you ought to be linking all of your social accounts to your PBN and all of your PBN out to your social accounts. Why? Because that's what people with real websites do. So you absolutely should do that because it just makes it look more real, right? Add a widget. Like I use one called Social Stickers. Social Stickers is a great widget, or it's a plugin that you add, which will give you a social media widget that you can add in the sidebar or the footer with a whole bunch of the icons. There's like several dozen sites in there that you can add, even some that I never even heard of. So you just add your username into the field and you click save, and all of a sudden your icon will appear in the widget area for that. So absolutely you should do that because it makes it look more real. Clint Butler, VSA versus Hangout Millionaire, VW Bug versus Lambo. It's your buddy, Clint.
And I answered Clint's question here. Right now you cannot embed playlist, but I'm going to add that to the feature list and we'll see what we can do.
That would be a good one, Clint.
Yeah.
Touche, +1 on that one, buddy. That's actually a really good idea. Surprised we hadn't already thought of that. So thank you for that, Clint. Absolutely should be able to do that. We can link. We link to the playlist now underneath the video, but you're right. Being able to embed a playlist would benefit all the other videos in the playlist as well. So, okay, it looks like we're about done. Anybody, any other questions, guys? I'll give you about a minute to post it. Otherwise, we're going to wrap it up.
Yep, and just to remind everybody, no masterclass next week. And then a week after that, we're probably going to roll something interesting for Thanksgiving week. We will be around that week, but it might be something slightly different than usual.
Yeah, like I said, we'll probably end up just doing like one super webinar on Wednesday from like 4 to 6 or something like that, where it's just open to the public, but we can get into some deeper questions and stuff. We're not going to reveal any mastermind shit on there, though. I can tell you that, but we can go into more depth on some questions and stuff. So we'll make sure we advertise that, and probably
somebody also said what goes on in RYSA in RYS stays in RYS.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. So, okay, cool. Earl's asking about press release again. Did you miss Hump Day Hangouts, Earl? Because I answered your question over there.
Yeah, if you can watch the replay, Earl, he answered it. And
let me go find the
that
link.
should be posted right now.
Let me find the link to Joe Hughes' service, though, real quick, and I can send that to him.
Let's go ahead and end the webinar, and then Earl will post it on the page.
Yeah, give me 1 second. I'm almost there. Press release whirlwind. I got it right here. All right, Earl, if you want, check this out. This is Joe Hughes' service, PR Whirlwind. This is a good service for one-off press releases. Like I said, if you want to be doing more than one, you should probably get a subscription to something like ReleaseWire, because you'll save money that way. So, anyways, all right, guys. Well, thanks for being here. Thanks, Margo. Thanks, Adam. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
See you, everybody.
All right, man.